learned something today.
That's, I was actually gonna make a joke too, but you beat me to it. I was thinking about that, like, wait, that's bad.
Well, I chose like a website.
All right, I'd like to call this a meeting of the Jefferson Elementary School Board to order at 7 p.m. Ms. Covere, may I get roll call, please?
Aaron Rashba,
Here.
Andrea Jordan,
Here.
Akil Ali,
Here.
Eileen Policarpio,
Here.
Anthony Sujisaka.
Here, thank you. And then this time, let's see, I think it is Josie's turn. May you do the Pledge of Allegiance for us, please?
All rise, hand over your heart, and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. All right, now we move on to item 4, approval of the agenda. The administration recommends approval of the agenda. If there is any amendments or otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the agenda.
Motion and
Second.
motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. All right, and now we move on to item 5, special presentations. 5A, after-school program updates. Miss Jennifer LaRock, Program Director of Expanded Learning and Staff Supports at After-School Program Staff, will provide updates on these after-school programs at all JESD schools. Yeah, when the providers come, they'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Good evening. Jennifer LaRock, Program Director of Expanded Learning Staff Resources. Lovely to see everyone this evening, and welcome to Trustee Policarpio. I'm excited to share with you this evening our 2025 after-school programming. We are proud to share that thanks to the ACES and the ELOP grant funds, we are able to offer after-school programming at all of our Jefferson Elementary School sites. I've invited a representative from each provider here this evening to introduce themselves and share a quick highlight from their program. I'd like to first invite our partners from Boys and Girls Club, who serve 3 of our school sites.
Hi there. Honored to be here tonight. My name is Ruby Fong. I'm the Regional Director serving the 3 schools of Woodrow Wilson, which we're excited to be at this fall, Susan B. Anthony, and Thomas R. Policita. So one of the things that we really wanted to highlight, in addition to all of the program offerings that we provide, is our power hour structure for TK to 5. So in these, in the hour that we spend with students for academic support, we really focus on a centers model so that we can really identify where students are at, baseline with assessments that we offer every quarter. So we do a baseline assessment, which we just completed, and then we do quarterly assessments to identify where they're at with math and literacy. So numbers and letters for sound and recognition. And we think that, well, our hope is that it impacts their in-school day learning to help elevate their learning for reading, as we all know that the struggle for young students is with math and literacy. So we do a variety of different centers that offer learnings for students in 20-minute increments, 15 to 20-minute increments, so that students get a variety of learnings, and some of them are independent and some of them are in group settings. But at the end of the day, our hope is that with the quarterly assessments, our goal is to provide that information to the principals every quarter for each student that we assess to help hopefully grow the student academically together as partnerships with the school.
Next up, I was going to invite champions, but I don't see, unless I'm not recognizing somebody. Our lead region director for Champions is a brand new mom, and so her attendance was going to be dependent on how baby was doing. So I'm hoping this just means that baby needed mama tonight. So our Champions representative is not here, but Champions is at 4 of our school sites this year. So with that, I will bring up AYRP, which is the Daly City Parks and Recreation, who is housed at 5 of our sites.
Hi, my name is Jennifer, and I am a Recreation Services Manager. And I'm just here to, thank you guys for the partnership that we have with you guys. I wanted to introduce our team, but unfortunately, each person had different things. Brian Flowers, one of our Recreation Services coordinators, he's been a PE aide for the district as well as a full-time staff in the past, and now he's full-time with Recreation. He's overseen 2 of the sites, Fernando Rivera and Thomas Edison, but yet the team supports one another. We also have David Zetzer. He is a graduate of the JESD schools from Daniel Webster through Westmore High School. He's been in recreation for a number of years, has overseen AORP and ACES in the past, and we brought him back on the team. We have Angelo Ignacio, another recreation services supervisor. He's had overseen ACES with partnering with the school district. We brought him back on the team. So we have a new team this year, and so unfortunately they're all not here for me to introduce you to. We have another staff member, Derek Shu, Recreation Services Coordinator, supporting staff on the technical side of things, and we have our admin team helping to support with registration. But we do have our director here of Recreation Services, Denise Brown, also a former employee of the school district, and now head of our department. But with this team, what we really strongly believe in is community. And in our after-school programs, our goal is to build that community and be in alignment with the schools. So we offer yard duty and lunch support. We have communication with the principals and with our part-time staff and our full-time staff, but we're trying to keep building that community so that we grow our leaders for tomorrow. And so that's what recreation is about, that's what the school is about, and together I think we're a wonderful partnership. But that's all I wanted to share. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Zetzer just arrived. Yes, no, you're good. Last but not least, we have Latchkey, who has been part of the FDR community since 1984 and part of our after-school provider program for Jefferson from the last 2 years.
Hello, everybody. Great to see you. Hi, my name is Matthew Feldman. As Jen said, we've been at FDR since 1984. I was a graduate of FDR myself. This is our 2nd year running the program. It's really nice because I kind of know now what the program needs. I'm able to be a little bit more organized, provide our staff with really what they need. Our staff has been fabulous because we've been on site for so long. All of my teachers, all of them actually worked for me throughout the summer program too. So my job, and Miss Michaela, who you guys haven't had the pleasure of meeting, is my program lead, is to support our staff and to give our teachers what they need so that the students are enjoying themselves, but also making sure that their work is getting done. We are providing our own enrichment this year. So just for today, for example, we had a cooking class with our 3rd and 4th grade kids. They made fried rice. I have been partnering with Jefferson High School, so they bring some seniors in and they do some art projects and some fun things for us. Our highlight of our program, I know I spoke last year about it, is our Bright Wheel app that we use for check-in and check-out and parent communication. Makes everything so much smoother. I saw a slide, Jen, that you were going to talk about that with the other program, so excited for that. I live at FDR. I live across the street, and I'm there at 6:30, and I leave at 6:30. So if you guys ever want to come by and say hi, see how our program is running, our doors are open. I'm happy to show you around. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the teams. I'm very grateful for them. They always are willing to take my calls, and my emails, and my texts, even 20 minutes ago. Thank you, Ruby. Any time of the day, and they're always willing to put our families and our students first. So it is an amazing team, and thank you very much for coming out this evening. We also have a parent of one of our after-school programs here to share their experience. I would love to invite Ms. Dorimal up to the podium, and Noah too, if he would like.
Hello, everyone. My name is Danelle, and this is my son, Noah. He is in 4th grade at Susan B. Anthony. We've had the opportunity, thank you. We've had the opportunity to be a part of the Boys and Girls Club community since he was in 1st grade. Prior to that, it was with Champions, and both programs are amazing, but I have to say that I don't want Noah to leave Susan B. Anthony when he moves over to Policita for middle school, only because the experience that I've had personally with all of the staff has been amazing. As a single parent, time is of an essence. So from getting off of work and thinking of picking him up by a certain time, it eases the stress that I have sometimes because I don't get off at the same time every day. But knowing that the staff is there to help him with his homework, make sure that he is staying on task, and even going as far as having clubs to have mindfulness is a big thing for me because he is a growing boy and his emotions are all over the place. But I am truly grateful for the program and where it goes next. Thank you, guys. Are you sure?
I don't want you to be worried about leaving Susan B. because Boys and Girls Club's at TRP too, so you're in luck. Thank you. Thank you. Along with our daily base provider programming, we use additional ELOP funds to add to the enrichment program at most of our sites. Boys and Girls Club and the Latchkey program provide their own enrichment at their sites. But we do add additional enrichment to the other sites, and those include this year CAM EDU, think coding, virtual reality, robotics. La Garza provides an all sports program as well as toyology, think makerspace. And then we have United Basketball and AYSO Soccer, which is new this year. I wanted to share a little bit about how after-school funding works and why it's important. We have two different sources of funding. We have ACES and we have ELOP, and each comes with its own set of guidelines. My goal is to help our families and community understand not just what these funds do for us, but also the compliance side that keeps us in good standing and not at risk of losing these funds. About 20 years ago, don't worry, this will go fast, that's when the ACES funding began. At that time, 10 of our schools qualified for ACES funding. 4 did not. The other 4 had either private aftercare, no aftercare, or JESD's pay-based model aftercare. Until about 5 years ago, when we got ELOP funding for after school. Unlike ACES, which is site-based, ELOP is district-based, meaning we can use the funds in any after-school hours program. Our superintendent at the time had a vision to make after-school free for all families, no matter what school your child attends. So to make that happen, we had to lean more heavily on the ELOP at our non-ACES sites. The key difference between the two grants is at an ACES sites, all students are eligible for after-school programming. Enrollment is first come, first serve until we hit our contract limit. With ELOP funds, we have to prioritize unduplicated students. Unduplicated students are foster youth, homeless students, socioeconomically disadvantaged, and English language learners. Once all of those students have been offered a spot and space still remains, then we can open it up to the rest of our Jefferson families. We also can use ELOP funds to enhance an already existing ACES program, which is what we've done with the enrichment classes. As of today, most of our sites are at capacity. And because of this, we need to create wait lists. At some ELOP sites, like Daniel Webster, MHT, where we hit our contract limit, Daly City Park and Rec is the after-school provider there, and they were able to bring in extra staff to offer additional spots on a pay-base model. So families on the wait list were contacted, and they were given the option to either wait on the wait list for a free spot or choose a paid spot if they don't want to wait. And I will say, a parent of 3, the amount that they're being asked to pay isn't awful. I would say I think it's about $222 for a quarter. So, I don't know, I paid a lot more than that, but thank you for offering it at that price. Every year, we ask both family and students to complete surveys, and that's part of our CQI requirement for the grants. And last year, I shared some highlights from the family survey. So this year, I pulled some of the student feedback to share with you. First one was, would you like the same staff or the same provider to return to your school next year? And 75% said, yes, we would. I asked, in their words, I like the additional enrichment activities offered, and you can see where they landed. Some that I am unaware, some don't realize that they're additional enrichment activities. They think it's just part of the program, which is great. That's what we want them to think. So they don't realize it's an added component. And then the last one was, I feel safe at after school. And so we have 91% said that they do feel safe at after school. So with any program, there's room for improvement. There's 3 particular areas that are hot topics amongst our families in after school. First is enrollment. Families want to sign up before summer so that they can secure their spot the following year. Makes sense. Some of our sites already do this, but not all of them. We're working with providers now to make sure that spring enrollment for fall is consistent across the district. Second hot topic is our ELOP qualification timeline. So at our ELOP funded sites, there's 4 of them, the time frame it takes to determine if a student is eligible for ELOP is a bit time consuming. When a family enrolls, I need to check their name in our data system to see if they qualify as unduplicated. If they do, they're admitted to the program. Easy. If they don't, some families challenge the status and are determined that they qualify for different reasons. They recently lost their job or they're out on disability, and so to which I then request they fill out and update their free and reduced lunch form, which would determine if they qualify as socioeconomically disadvantaged. And their status may change. Once they fill out the form, the central kitchen takes 10 days to process it. Then I connect back with the family and I inform them if their status has changed. Multiply this by 400 or 500 of the students that apply, and it's doable, but it just takes time. And families need to know now if they have daycare, especially if they wait until the fall to enroll. Now we're already backed up. So my recommendation is, even if you don't think you qualify, fill out the free and reduced lunch form now. Do it in the spring, do it in the fall, so we have it on file, so your enrollment process goes a lot quicker. And thirdly is our dual enrollment communication. Both ELOP and ACES require that our students attend programming 5 days a week for a minimum of 3 hours. This means that students cannot split their time between our program and something else, like a chess class or a music class. On occasion, families can fill out an early release form, which would allow a student to be released. But otherwise, enrolling in our after-school program, it is a 5 days a week, 3-hour-a-day program commitment, which is monitored and audited, and we're doing that right now. We try to build in fun, high-interest activities into our program so that the students don't feel like they're missing out. And once our families understand the reasoning, they usually appreciate that the reason of the guidelines is to protect the grant and the program itself. So lastly, 2 quick heads up that I'd like to note about after school. After several meetings with the CDE in regards to sign-out procedures, we're working with our providers on a solution to move from paper and pencil to an electronic sign-out system, which was requested from our board last year. One of the ACES requirements is, and always has been, a wet signature. For better or for worse, that is the requirement. The CDE is open to an e-sign-out, but several practices must be in place in order for that to happen. And I'm currently working with each of our providers on whether or not they have a system available that would support the ACES requirement as an electronic signature. For some, it's already in the works. For others, it's a challenge. Their platform simply does not allow certain features that the CDE is requiring. So it becomes a question as to whether or not Jefferson wants to take on the expense of buying a program that fits the grant requirement in order to move away from paper and pencil or use the funding elsewhere. Stay tuned. Which leads me to my final update. I feel like we have been incredibly lucky to have received the additional ELOP funding to best support all of our after-school programs. And as mentioned, the ELOP grant, was first awarded in 2021. Given the grant was newer, and we were all kind of determining what after-school looked like in the middle of a pandemic, we did have a couple of years of surplus ELOP funds, which luckily had rolled over. We're able to roll over from year to year until this year. We've been living the good life with our ELOP funds. We've had free aftercare, we've had rich curriculum. ELOP also funds our intersessions and our summer programs, but last year we entered the use it or lose it era. And we did a great job building enrichment programs for our students. However, that means next year, with little to no rollover, we will have to maintain a more tame budget within the annual allocation and really lock in to what families would like us to prioritize in the after-school space. From my initial conversations with families, base programming is an absolute necessity, and enrichments are a nice to have. So this year, we'll work closely with families, with sites and providers, decide how to utilize and use those funds wisely. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. LaRock, for that amazing presentation. All right, and we are going to start with questions, comments, or anything we would like to address with the superintendent, and I will start on my right. Just wanted to freak you out a little bit. Trial by fire.
Thank you, Ms. LaRock, for a very informative presentation. I really appreciate understanding how the ACES grant and ELOP grants came to be, how they're different. I never fully understood that, so I appreciate that. I wanted to ask about wait lists and also about the time requirement. Wait lists, you know, it sounds like there are arrangements with some of our schools that could be made for a paid option program, and I guess I'm wondering if that has fully taken care of the wait list at those schools. And my other question is whether it is possible to offer a paid program at the other sites, why or why not? And then I'll pause there, and then
Okay, so the first question being, has the paid option taken care of the wait list? And I will say in AYRP, you can help me if I say this wrong. Everyone on the wait list has been offered a spot, whether or not a paid spot. Whether or not they've taken it, that's up to them. They may say, I want to remain on the wait list. Does that sound correct? Okay. The other question of, can we provide this at the other sites? So the ACES sites don't really have a long wait list. It's mostly our ELOP or ELOP sites. So it's not something that we've broached with them because they've been really ready, been able to take in all of the students that have needed aftercare. But it's definitely something that we can offer. We can talk to the providers about offering. We haven't spoken to all our providers because, for example, some of them just have 2 spots on the wait list. And so we feel like we can maybe flush that out without having to charge families.
is there any site in our district then where there is a significant wait list now?
There is, especially like at Fernando Rivera, but again, they've all been offered a pay spot. Fernando Rivera is our biggest wait list, which kind of came out of left field for us. Yeah. You had another time requirement? Go back to it. Okay.
Well, I was going to ask a time requirement question, so maybe I'm asking the same question. So you said 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. For the 1st through 5th graders, they get out at 3 o'clock.
It's the 3-hour requirement is K, starts in K, but
Okay.
it's from wherever their dismissal is.
And the reason why I'm saying 1st through 5th is specifically because they get out at 3 o'clock, meaning pickup can't be until 6. And I'm asking this question because I have a kid in after school and they offer pickup starting at 5:45. So and that's not the full 3 hours. So I'm just trying to understand.
Yes, and that is okay. They do say they want the school day to make it to 9 hours is what they're trying to do. So if for us that's 2.5 hours in the after school program, I think our earliest pickup is 5:30 without having to fill out an early release form.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a few questions, so I'll go one at a time. So the first question is, are there any students on these wait lists who would be able to attend for free?
No,
Okay, good.
it's part of the grant requirement.
So can I ask another one real quick? Okay. So given the current funding climate, what is our long-term plan to sustain our after-school initiatives without creating structural deficits?
Well, I do believe that with our funding that seems to be ongoing, we will be able to sustain base programming at all of our school sites. The question comes into what does enrichment look like, what does intercession look like, and what does summer programming look like?
And Trustee Polycarpio, just so I did not do a very good teacher job of explaining how we do this. So what we usually do is we go through and ask 1, maybe 2 quick questions first, and then we'll come back to any other questions just to give everyone a chance to ask at least 1.
Okay. Thank you for that presentation. This is my first meeting, and so that was so informative that I feel like I was able to follow along, so I do appreciate
Great.
the amount of information there. My question is around how long does a child on a wait list for a free spot wait? Does that tend to open up for the kids that are on the wait list that are waiting for that free spot, or do they kind of just potentially wait all year because people continue to take those spaces?
So there's a couple of ways to move off the wait list. One is if a family decides to leave programming for whatever reason, drops out of program, opens a spot. Because one of the requirements for the grant is that they must attend every day. Soon as they have 5 absences. 3 absences, looking for the team. Soon as they have 3 unexcused absences, they are dropped from the program if there is a wait list, and they will get moved to the wait list. An unexcused absence would mean that they came to school, but they didn't go to after school. If they did not go to school, then it does not count against them. And that would then open up a spot. And the way number 3 would be if they either wanted a pay spot or we secure additional staffing and open up more spots. But right now, we are at our contract limit at all the sites.
And then, yeah, so I have one question, then we'll go back around. So this is actually a question for the superintendent. Is the lunch form, the lunch forum that Ms. LaRock mentioned, that's in our newsletter, correct?
That's the meal application form that also helps fund our general fund. It helps actually give them access to the ELOP program. So we want people to fill out that meal application because it helps with our funding in ELOP as well as our general fund.
Yeah, that's the reason I asked, is I wanted people to know where to find it if they don't know where. So good to know that it's in your newsletter.
It's in every newsletter. It's on our website. So if anyone has questions, send me a message, call, ask your school site. We can get it to you. We encourage everyone to complete that.
Excellent, thank you. And then we'll go back around.
Yeah, so I want to come back to that 3-hour requirement. It's something that, you know, I've had experience with when my kids were in after-school program. And, you know, I'll say, first of all, so grateful that we have this grant and this free programming, you know, at all schools in our district. But I will say, I think that the 3 hours requirement does not match often, you know, what parents want. And, you know, you mentioned other activities which do come up, and things are just so different now with, you know, I think back to pre-pandemic when we were all leaving our jobs at 5 o'clock and 5:30, 5:40, that was perfect, you know, 6 o'clock pickup, but it's all different now. And I guess my question is, before school was not mentioned. So would it be the possibility if a child is enrolled in the before school program of that counting towards the 3-hour requirement?
Yes, it would. The child would need to be in school for 9 hours, 1st through 6th. So they need to be in for 9 hours. Now, if the before program has to also be funded by the ELOP or ACES to make it an ELOP ACES 9-hour program, which we have a before program at 4 of our sites. So in those sites, I would actually have to look in more closely to the details of that, but it does seem like it would work. I still believe they would have to fill out an early release to leave the after-school program early, just so we have it documented for auditing purposes.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to come up with ways that we could meet the requirements of the grant and meet the
Yeah.
what
The needs of the
parents are looking
family.
for.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to write that down. It's a good question.
I want to actually go back to the waiting list. You said that at certain schools, we haven't offered the pay base because we didn't feel the need. Have there ever been a situation where those 2 people, there are only 2, but they just never got in because nothing opened up, but we didn't feel the need to open up pay-based?
I'm going to turn to the team for a minute. Team, I feel like at some point we've reached out to everyone. I'm speaking of last year, not necessarily this year because we're only in week 5. Last year, I feel like, I'm kind of looking at you, Ruby, but I feel like we've at least touched base with all of the families at some point, whether or not they were on, so I'm talking to her, but I'm really talking to you, whether or not, you know, by the time we've gotten to them, they've already made other arrangements, or we have found a spot and then they've already found other arrangements. Would you agree with that? Okay.
And the main reason for me asking that question, I guess, is there a way to give families timelines? Because to your point of by the time we got to them, they had made other arrangements. As a working parent that uses the after-school program that was on a wait list, I remember there at a point it took a month and a half, and that's a month and a half of work where a parent is juggling a situation.
Yeah.
Is there a way to give a timeline to say if you don't hear by this date or something, just so that a parent knows, like, I'm gonna have to have other options?
We typically do both, and honestly, a month on the wait list isn't unusual. When we do tell them that they're on the wait list, we usually go over the 3 ways of how to get off the wait list. But at the same time, we have to abide by the grant requirements, not to go over ratios and whatnot. But we certainly, and I think AYRP actually just did a lot of it this year, is they were almost giving weekly communication here at the beginning as to, you know, your number, blah, blah, on the wait list. We'll let you know if anything changes. But beyond not knowing when someone's going to drop from the program, it's kind of hard for us to determine how long they would be on the wait list for.
This is a two-part question. So I guess with that, early enrollment may help with that, knowing what you might be coming into. So my suggestion would be try to utilize that a little bit more, because then you're not waiting until being a month on the wait list during the school
Yes.
year that you actually need the support and
Agreed.
services.
Yes.
So that would just be my recommendation.
Yes, agreed. Thank you.
The last question I had, you already kind of touched on it. I was just wondering, what are the before school programs? So, and you mentioned that we have them at 4 schools, but just a little bit about what happens at the before school.
Sure. They are at 4 of our sites. They are funded by ELOP. They have about 20 kids in each of the programs. They open up at 7 a.m. and they stay with the kids until 8:15 when they bring them to the multi-use room for breakfast, and that's kind of when they're off. They have different opportunities, and we call it Drop Zone. Different opportunities to do in Drop Zone. We just, with some of our rollover ELOP money, we got new furniture for them. But there's like an arts and crafts corner. There's just like a snuggle corner where there's stuffed animals and they can read a book. The teachers kind of engage with them with puzzles. If they have to do their homework, they can do that. But it's, again, 5 days a week. It's the same kind of rule. If you're gone, if you miss 3 and there's a wait list, you get bumped out. And the way it's at 4 schools is because 2 years ago, when we had this kind of extra bucket of ELOP funding, we asked the principals who would be interested in having a before-school program, or who had a lot of kids getting dropped off early that needed somewhere to be, and those 4 sites kind of stepped up and requested it.
To build on that, what would be the possibility, or how would the other sites be able to get a morning program?
I get that question frequently now. So really, there's 2 different ways. I say that the site can fund it if the site finds any additional funding. As I mentioned at the end of the presentation, we're really looking for places to cut. However, if surveys go out and that becomes a very large priority over some of our other big ticket items, then it's definitely something that we can explore. But from what I've heard, I kind of feel like we're probably going to be moving away from Drop Zone to increase spots in the base program after school, if I had to guess.
All right, I have no further questions. I have a few comments, but I'll let people ask their questions if they have any more. Okay, so, yeah. So I'm just going to say my last few comments. So I wanted to appreciate all of you all for coming out here and speaking to us, especially the program leaders who are here very early. Let's see, we appreciate the parents and who spoke, and the parent who spoke, and the kids who, yes, we see you. We also appreciate that we are engaging students in experiences that reflect careers. So with your computer science one, that was very cool to see. And then Latchkey, you said you live at the school. Is that a home invite? No, I'm just kidding. All right, thank you, Ms. LaRock. So you may sit down. We do have one public comment on this item. So we have, well, let me read the public comment first. Well, I guess this item on the agenda is available for individuals to comment on or address the board on this issue that is under the board's jurisdiction. The maximum time allowed for any speaker is 2 minutes. We will display the 2-minute timer on the screen. If the timer ends, I will stop you if you go over. As a reminder, the board may not discuss or comment on any items spoken during communications public comment. We want you to know that we will hear you and ask our superintendent to follow up on your comments. Please make sure you leave your name and contact information with Ms. Covere so our administration knows how to reach you. So our public comment on this item is Lucy Pham and Aria De Castro, students.
Hi, my name is Lucy De Campo-Pham. And I'm Aria Di Castro. And we go to the Fernando Rivera Middle School, and we are in 8th grade. And we participate in the ARRP after-school program. We are presenting all the kids who couldn't be here tonight. Recently, a staff, Mr. Ryan, was fired due to letting kids in who weren't in the program. And those kids were the kids who needed to be picked up later due to their parents working late and are now forced to wait outside. Some of those kids were our friends who felt this was unfair since not all parents were able to sign up for the program. Mr. Ryan showed empathy and compassion to them, which really affected our experience in the after-school program.
Mr. Ryan was caring, and we were very close with him. He cared deeply about the kids who were in the program. He was a lot of kids' example of a trusted adult. He made the community brighter and more supportive. We think that the decision of firing Mr. Ryan was completely unfair, and due to his recent absence in the program, it has affected our perspective of the program. And it's not the same without him. Many staffs that were working with him were very close with him and were able to call him their friend. We've personally known Mr. Ryan since kindergarten. He's always been an active member of PTO and more. The reason we are here right now is to support Mr. Ryan and to show the board that Mr. Ryan is an invaluable member of the FRS community. He provides a safe and positive environment, although we may understand that though Mr. Ryan broke some rules, we do not believe he should be fired completely from the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
If I may, Mr. Ryan is an employee of AYRP, is that correct? Okay, so this is not something that the board has jurisdiction over, just so that that is made clear to the public.
Don't worry, you may sit down. Thank you so much. All right, we now move to item 5B, Summer School Programs Update. A stranger named Ms. Jennifer Locke, Program Director of Expanded Learning and Staff Supports, will provide an overview of summer 2025 learning programs and enrichment activities.
All right, me again.
Welcome back.
Thank you. All right, this past summer, we are very proud to offer our students a menu of 4 different programs to choose from. Camp Jeff K3, Camp Jeff 4-8, the Boys and Girls Club at Woodrow Wilson, and our Green Awareness Program. In total, we served around 650 students during the summer, which is something we are really excited about. One of the highlights was launching our first ever Camp Jeff. For our younger students in grade 3, we hosted about 300 students across 2 sites, Susan B. Anthony and Daniel Webster. In the morning, our students worked with our Jefferson credentialed teachers, and in the afternoon, they were kept busy and engaged with the Boys and Girls Club. Partnering with the Boys and Girls Club was such a great fit because it meant consistency for our kids, familiar staff, strong program standards, and excellent leadership. For our older students, we'd offered Camp Jeff at Thomas R. Policita. Once again, mornings were led by our fantastic Jefferson teachers, while the afternoons were powered by Galileo. If you know Galileo, you know they are a wildly popular STEAM-based enrichment program. All summer long, our students were building go-karts, designing escape rooms, constructing robots, using saws, glue guns, hammers, and so much more. We also partnered with USF to bring 8 student teachers. Each was assigned to a classroom to support instruction and behavior while also earning credit towards their teaching credential. It was a win-win. Our classrooms had extra support, and our USF students gained real-world experience. One of my favorite parts of managing summer school every year is working with our future leaders. Our summer school principals are JESD teacher leaders who have either completed or are currently pursuing their administrative credential. This summer, one of those leaders was Matt Fredericks. Matt has worn many hats at Jefferson, and he's currently a mentor teacher at Ben Franklin. But this summer, he truly shined as principal of Camp Jeff 4-8. I've invited Matt to share a few words tonight about the opportunities summer provides for staff, as well as his reflections on the program.
Hi, my name is Matt Fredericks. I've been in the district for 14 years as a teacher at Ben Franklin. I've worked the district summer school a handful of times as a teacher, and then this year I got a chance to lead Camp Jeff as the program director at TRP. We had the rising 4th to 8th graders. This position was appealing to me because it was an opportunity to give administrative role a try and to practice my leadership in a whole school setting. I learned that I really enjoyed being in that role. I got to interact with every single person on campus and in the community in a way that I don't normally get to as a teacher. For example, I worked closely with our custodial and food services staff to ensure things were running smoothly and considerately. I got to work with parents more closely, collaboratively promoting each student's needs. One specific thing that I learned was that you can't predict how your day is going to go. There's a lot that can come at you on a daily and hourly basis. But it was really fun to problem solve with the leadership team and our staff. That included Jen at the DO and Adam Hopkins and Yvette Sanchez at our site. It was really fantastic to have such a great team. There are many examples of things that we did well and also missed opportunities that I personally could learn from. It was a great lesson in trying to think and prepare for everything and then adjusting to the things that you inevitably miss. There were many highlights from the summer for all of us. I loved working with our staff. It felt like we all made a good team, highlighted by our end of the summer potluck. And the students were amazing. I believe they got a lot out of the program between their academics in the morning and STEM activities in the afternoon, like making go-karts. Adam and I had a lot of fun spending time with the kids on the yard and organizing weekly activities like staff for student dodgeball. It was really a treat to have a role where I was encouraged to seek out everyone on campus and build relationships with them. Teaching can be somewhat siloed, so I really enjoyed thinking more big picture overall. So thank you to Jen for putting all of us in a position to succeed, and thank you to all of us for making this possible for our students and staff and families. Thank you.
One of the big differences between past summers and Camp Jeff is that for the first time, we had the opportunity to select our own morning curriculum. After a lot of brainstorming, curriculum reviews, and teacher surveys, we landed on the Cesar Chavez Foundation curriculum, and it was fantastic. From a teacher's perspective, it came fully prepped, ready to deliver. It was easy to follow. It was built on strong strategies and meaningful conversations and aligned with standards. With a focus on the Cesar Chavez motto, Si se puede, or Yes, I can, students were able to connect with the lessons because they built on their interests and prior knowledge. They worked in partners, they collaborated in groups, and they presented their work to their peers. All in all, it felt very relevant and engaging. Of course, one of our ongoing goals for summer is to prevent the summer slide and help students maintain their academic growth. I'm happy to share that our students just didn't meet expectations, they exceeded them. All students in grade 3 through 8 participated in pre and post assessments for math, and in grades 1 through 8 did the same in ELA, all created by the Cesar Chavez Foundation, and the results showed growth at every single grade level. We also surveyed families to hear directly from them about their experience at Camp Jeff. And tonight, I want to share 4 key outcomes that capture the overall satisfaction and highlight what worked best. Now, I thought I could read it from here, but I can't. So somebody read what the first one is.
1 through 5, how satisfied are you with your child's overall experience?
Thank you.
1 through 5, would you recommend Camp Jeff to a friend?
Thank you.
1 through 5, how clear and helpful was camp communication before, during program start? And 1 through 5, did your child feel welcome and included?
Thank you. And I should have mentioned that 5 was the positive and 1 was the negative. Although some of you may have already seen it, I'd like to show our Camp Jeff commercial. Again, I think it really captures the heart of the program, and it gives a full picture of what we've been able to offer our students. Get ready for a summer of learning, laughter, and lifelong memories at Camp Jeff. Camp Jeff is a 5-week summer program for Jefferson Elementary School District students in grades K through 8, made possible through the Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant and offered free of charge to our families. Each summer, Camp Jeff transforms English learners and students from low-income families. After that, we open up the remaining spots to all Jefferson Elementary School District students. They go fast. Mornings equal learning power. Each day starts with academic time led by credentialed teachers. Students spend 90 minutes on English language arts and 90 minutes on math with personalized support to build strong skills. We even track growth with pre- and post-assessments to see just how far our campers can grow. Afternoons are filled with project-based fun. Camp Jeff is all about hands-on enrichment with our amazing community partners. Grades K through 3 team up with the Boys and Girls Club of the Peninsula for engaging rotations, including STEAM, art, movement, and social-emotional learning. Grades 4 through 8 dive into project-based STEAM adventures with Galileo. Think go-karts, escape rooms, robotics, and more. Jefferson Elementary School District is happy to provide a free breakfast, lunch, and afternoon snack daily, bus transportation for 4th through 8th graders on the west side, and warm, supportive staff who care about your child's success. Families love Camp Jeff for its amazing team, great communication, and that perfect mix of academics and play. Kids leave with new skills, new friends, and tons of unforgettable memories. Don't miss out. Registration opens in February, and spots fill fast. Join us for a summer of learning, laughter, and discovery. We can't wait to welcome you to the Camp Jeff family. In addition to Camp Jeff, we had 2 other strong programs running this summer. The Boys and Girls Club hosted a standalone program at Woodrow Wilson for the 3rd year in a row. The students enjoyed art through Sparkle, social emotional support with Second Step, outdoor play with Playworks, and STEAM lessons by Galileo. The older students at camp even got to go on a couple of field trips. And of course, we made sure the students received breakfast, lunch, and snack throughout the day. We are so lucky to have a student from that camp here to share her experience firsthand. I would like to invite Casey Wu to the podium.
Hi. My experience at Boys and Girls Club was amazing. We did fun activities. One of them was Jeopardy's. The kids one. We did random like topics like health, sports, and we did Disney. We do would you rather. Like, if you want this, you stand on one side of the room. If you want the other one, you stand on the other side of the room. We do chaos tag. We run around the whole field tagging other people. We in the morning we rotate and we meet different teachers. Over there we learned about different things. Outside we did dodgeball and basketball shooting, and inside we did mini quizzes. We learned about animals, habitat, how they live, how they survive, and more. Afternoon we did a project about robots, and like we learned how robots work and why we use them. we did ships. We learned different types of ships and what they were used for.
Thank you. Yep, so I actually have two kids that were actually in Woodrow Wilson. She is Casey in 5th grade. My son is in 3rd grade, and both of them have been with Boys and Girls Club summer program for the past 2 years. I can say that both of them were excited every day to go to the summer camp, and they were active. They do crafts, they learn science concepts and stuff like that. My son were building models to learn about momentums with sticks and glues and stuff, glue gun and stuff like that. And I know they were active because once when I went and picked them up, they were kind of tired. So I know they were active in school and they were having lots of fun. So we're really excited about the program. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming and sharing. Appreciate it. Finally, we offered our Green Awareness Program. It's funded through the Jefferson Union High School District. It's a 2-week program. It's open to 7th and 8th graders, and it introduces them to careers in agriculture, engineering, and green transportation. And the goal is to help students build early awareness of green careers and pathways through the career technical education. All in all, it was a very exciting and impactful summer filled with opportunities for our students to grow, learn, and connect. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you once again, Ms. LaRock. All right, now we move to comments and questions, and I will again start on my right.
Thank you for the great presentation, and congratulations on just completing a incredible summer program. I'm really proud as a district that we have all of these offerings, and that they're so varied and valued, by the community. My question comes back to wait lists, and I know you said it, in the video it talked about the spots filling up fast, and I'm wondering, first of all, if the participation in Camp Jeff was up, historically over the past few years, if you know that, and how many that need to be turned away for participating in this valuable program.
Thank you. First of all, I'd also like to share that credit with the team that worked behind the summer program. They were a great group to work with this year. As far as attendance, yes, there were wait lists. We had funding for a certain amount of spots that we allocated, and we did fill those spots. However, interestingly, our wait lists were in our 4-8 program, which we don't typically see. Typically, we see, our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders want to do their own thing during the summer, and the parents don't necessarily need the coverage of somebody watching them during the summer. They can stay by themselves. Oddly, this year, our biggest wait list was 7th grade. I will say in K3, I don't think we had much of a wait list at all. We were able to get through all of them. When we didn't at first have the Green Awareness Program set up for the summertime, reached out to Jefferson Union High School District, asked if it was something that we could do. They were able to pull it together quite quickly, and we offered everyone that was a 6th or 7th grader on the wait list, we offered them a spot at the Green Awareness Program. So they could either deny that, or we did fill up. 27 students took us up on it, and so they are the ones that filled the Green Awareness Program, the 27 from the wait list.
I also want to say congratulations on a successful summer program. I missed the summer, even though now we're back. We're coming into the fall now. A comment/question. This is the first year of Camp Jeff. It was Big Lift before that. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Perfect. Which is why congratulations, because I know it took a lot to create our own. So that's just amazing how successful it went. And then my question is around the opportunities for teachers that are wanting to go and get their administrative credential. Really happy that we had, obviously, is this the first time we've been able to do that, or?
We offer it every year.
Perfect. What is the process for getting someone selected and in that position?
Selected to be a principal for summer school.
Correct.
I send out lots of emails in February to kind of gather the interest. I ask them to email me back if they're interested. I then send them more information. They fill out a Google form. Then we kind of chat on the phone on like an impersonal interview, and we kind of decide where their best fit would be. Would they be better as a leadership team member, as a coach, or as an administrator? And everyone kind of falls into place. And we all actually end up supporting each other. We're all in a group chain, during a text chain during the summer, and so all the principals support each other and the coaches all support each other. So it's really a dynamic opportunity for them to participate in. It's one of my favorite things to do during the summer is to kind of watch and support and help the newer principals that are coming down the pipeline have the experience. They really do a full school year within 5 weeks, and they get thrown things at them all day long, and it's just an incredible experience for them. Yeah. And I will say, over the last 8 years that I've been doing summer programming, more than half of our current site principals were principals in summer school.
Before we continue with questions, I do want to honor our student with her certificates so that they can get going, because you have been very patient. So, for a certificate of appreciation for participating in the special summer 2025 presentation and for speaking so well and telling us about our program, for Casey Wu. Thank you. Thank you very much. We may continue with questions.
Yeah, just had a quick question about alignment with our LCAP goals, and do we have any metrics to see if our summer programs are helping us to close the achievement gaps?
So this year we were able to collect student identification numbers of those that were in summer, and we will be filtering through the data from our fall benchmark assessments to see how our summer students did in comparison to those who didn't go to summer school. It's kind of like maybe doing apples to oranges a little bit, because our summer programs are filled with all unduplicated students. But it is something that just hasn't met the top of the to-do list this fall, but it's getting there, and I will definitely provide you that information once I have it.
That was a great commercial. I will be signing up in February as soon as you open that, which is what leads to my question on, I know you mentioned that it is similar to the after-school program that, because I guess ELOP funded, you have to meet certain criteria first for prioritizing the children. What is the percentage of those numbers that, and maybe it's average, first year, I'm not sure what that looks like, but what is the percentage that goes to those prioritized children, and then what is the percentage of seats open to the rest of the JESD families?
That's a really good question. And this is a very general guesstimate. I do personally have to look up each child's status. So I do feel like I've looked up them all. I have looked up them all. And my guesstimate would be it's about 80% unduplicated students, 20% rest of the community. Because it's ELOP funding, it's everyone in the district. It's not like ACES site specific.
Whose voice was that in the video?
Come on, you knew it was me.
I knew it was you. Yeah, I just want to point that out. All right, and embarrass you a little. Any other questions to the board?
Yeah, I have one other question. So I'm hearing from the last presentation that we will have, more budgetary pressures on ELOP overall, including this summer program, and wonderful that we were able to offer this incredibly high-quality program at no cost. I am wondering about of whether like a hybrid model could be possible in the future if we could offer it free for unduplicated students and have a fee-based model, or subsidized, in some way, because just seeing the performance numbers with the testing, it seems like it would be a huge benefit for the district overall for as many students as possible to participate in the summer program, eliminate that slide, but what would be the possibility of that?
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. It's something we're literally working on right now. I've talked to several partners in my position in other districts locally to us, and some of them already have a sliding scale model, more so for their after-school programs, but we're kind of in cahoots together to figure out how we can bridge that over to the summer program. The only challenge, well, one of the challenges that I foresee is just being able to staff. We have to make sure that we have qualified staff in order to meet all the demand of the students. But it's definitely something that we're talking about this year, especially that we kind of have to stay with inside our allocated ELOP funding this year.
I actually have a follow-up question to that question based on what you just said about staffing. Would you know in advance how many students you would be able to enroll to be able to identify the staff in advance, or would you have to wait and then figure out the staffing? What does that look like?
This is my chicken and egg question every spring. What I typically do is I fill to our numbers that we've done in the past, or I will fill this year's numbers to what we did last year. And then I will reach back out to our community of teachers and say, there is a high demand for this program. If I can find you, if you're interested, let me know. I also have, especially this year when we use the Cesar Chavez Foundation curriculum, I think it was a huge plus for teachers, how easily it was to just pick up and go. I think it'll be an amazing selling point for our summer teachers of last summer to talk to more teachers, to bring more teachers in so they don't have to worry about the training behind the curriculum because it was so easy to pick up and go. So I'm hopeful that we will be able to do that. We also offered a little bit of a pay bump this summer, which helped. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to, first I'll build to our normal capacity and then add on from there.
Thank you.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
I just have one for filling. I know there's a different amount of children for each program. For signing up, do they determine, certain kids from certain schools go to the school that's allotted to their program, or what is the distribution of kids that are interested in which program they go into?
Just want to clarify. So because we are at different sites, curious how we assign a student to a site? Okay. They choose it on the form that they fill out. They choose which site they want to go to. 99% of the time, we're able to offer that to them. If perhaps, I think this year we had first grade fill up really fast at Daniel Webster. So if you ended up on the first grade Daniel Webster wait list, we offered you a spot at Susan B. If they wanted it, they took it. If not, they said, we'll just wait for a Daniel Webster spot. But 99% of the time, we give them what they want. Somehow it just works out.
I have no further questions. Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Larock.
Thank you.
All right. With that, we move on to item 6A, board member acknowledgements and commendations. And I will start on my right.
Thank you. So I wanted to just use my remarks to, first of all, thank everybody who volunteered for the budget and planning committee, and excellent first meeting that we had, second meeting coming up next week. And I just wanted to comment as we look at these really difficult challenges ahead in our budget, I think it's really important that we make the most of the funding that's available to us. And so I just wanted to talk about attendance and the free and reduced lunch application. I know these have been brought up before, but just to emphasize that these are two critical ways that determine funding for our district, and to highlight that September is Attendance Awareness Month. I know that our principals have been doing a good job of communicating that. I know our superintendent has done a good job of communicating that in our newsletters, but just to implore all parents to get their kids to school every day unless they are very ill, and just to highlight that if you know in advance that there is a extended absence or even a brief absence, independent study can be an option to talk to your school site about making that possible so your child will not fall behind and will keep up in their attendance. I just want to mention the free and reduced lunch application, which seems confusing because lunch is provided free of charge at all of our school sites by the state of California, but it is a requirement for our schools to access all the funding that we can for families to fill out the free and reduced lunch application. That is the way that we can qualify for funding for our district. I wish there was another way available, but it really is important that all families fill out this application so that we as a district can access all of the funding that we can, so that valuable programs like our after school and summer programs can continue. The deadline for filling this out is October 31st. I noted that it's on the quick links for our district's website, and it's also on school websites as well. And we are going to have incentives for filling out the free and reduced lunch application. I know Superintendent McCulloch can probably share more about that, but there are some incentives, some prizes that will be randomly drawn for families who do complete the free and reduced lunch application. So please do fill that out to help our district access the most revenue that we can. And finally, I just wanted to plug the Art and Literature Festival taking place this Saturday at Saramonte Center, 11 to 3 from our friends at the Daly City Public Library Association. It looks like an awesome event on Saturday afternoon at Saramonte. A lot of great vendors, music, art, and good opportunities to take advantage of this Saturday. Thank you.
I just want to commend all the people that we recognize tonight, and just point out that these accolades come because of the shared work that we all do and the collective care that we have for the community. And I'm really inspired by seeing all the work that Ms. LaRock is still doing with us, which shows that you've always had a long-term, commitment and vision for these services for our students. So thank you.
And I'll just say I look forward to our very, very long rest of our agenda. All right, we move on to item 6B, superintendent comments. Superintendent McCulloch, it's yours.
Yes, I want to thank all of our providers as well for coming tonight and sharing the program, but I especially want to thank Ms. LaRock. She has really been integral in creating these wonderful after-school programs, and especially our summer program. I mean, she built that from the ground up. It was highly successful. And she's one of those staff members that you can just always count on, that she's always going to do excellent work. So I really want to thank her for what she's done for our district. And she's always so responsive to all of our families as well. So I really appreciate her for the work she does. I want to also echo the comments about it's still Attendance Awareness Month, but I want to say every month is Attendance Awareness Month. And, just to remind folks that if your child misses 2 days a month for the whole school year, that's actually chronically absent, because if you miss 10% of the school year, you are considered chronically absent, which is actually detrimental to your child's progress in school. And so we want to remind everyone that being in school, even if you're just have the sniffles and you're not contagious, it's okay if you have allergies to come to school. It's only really if you have a fever that you should stay home. If you're, very sick, obviously we don't want to spread any diseases, but we want to encourage families to come to school every day. Not only does it bring funding for our district, but it makes sure our students are learning and in school and not missing key instruction. We also want to encourage the filling out the meal application program, as Trustee Rashba said. We do have a drawing that we're using through Kids First Education Foundation. Sodexo, our food service provider, is donating a bicycle, and they're going to, whoever wins, they're going to see if it's a kindergartner, they're going to get a kindergarten bike. If it's a fifth grader, same thing. So we don't have the bicycle yet because we're waiting to see the winner. And we plan to have winners at every single school. So we encourage everyone to apply. We see that a lot of folks are applying. So we appreciate everyone who's already applied. Even if you don't qualify, you're still part of the drawing, because this does bring us additional funding, which is key, especially right now. So we appreciate everyone who's doing their part in helping our district increase our funding. Today, I also went to the Daly City Peninsula Partnership celebrated 30 years in support of our community. And the partnership is, they provide comprehensive multi-generational services that empower children, families, and older adults to overcome challenges and promote community advancement. And we've been a partner with them since the beginning as a district. They are a fantastic community partner. Actually, the executive director is on our Ed Housing Board, so there is a definite connection and direct supports that we provide each other. They provide a lot of supports for our students in our community, and so we just want to appreciate them as well. And then also, as a reminder, next Wednesday, for our people that are on our Superintendent Advisory Committee for budget and facilities updates, October 1st is our next meeting, and so we'll be providing updates at the next meeting through our board trustees that are representing that committee. And we're going to have focus on feedback that we want to receive from the community, so what the community input will look like, as well as start the conversation about what are the district priorities. That's going to go over multiple meetings, but that's the focus of the next meeting, and we'll be sharing that coming up soon. And I believe, and then last week was we finally finished our back to school nights. We had a delay because of the power outage, so MP Brown, Thomas Edison, and MH Tobias were able to have their rescheduled back to school nights last week. So it was great to see the big turnouts at those sites. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Superintendent McCulloch. All right, and now we go to item 6C, persons wishing to address the board. This portion of the agenda is available for individuals to comment on or address the board on any issue that is under the board's jurisdiction and not on the agenda. The maximum time allowed for any speaker is usually 2 minutes. We will display the 2-minute timer on the screen. If the timer ends, I will stop you if you go over. As a reminder, the board may not discuss or comment on any items not listed on this agenda or expressed during communication public comment. We want you to know that we will hear you and will ask our superintendent to follow up on your comments. Please make sure you leave your name and contact information with Ms. Covere so our administration knows how to reach you. And we have one public comment. We have a parent, Alana Wong.
Thank you. Hi. Good evening. My name is Alana Wong, and I'm a parent of 3 Daly City kids, and I've been actively involved in our district for the last 15 years. I'm here on behalf of the families in our community to request that the district reopen our schoolyards for community use when school is not in session. Our community was designed with access to schoolyards to use as our open green space. We have limited park space, and unlike many communities, we have no skate parks, no basketball hoop anywhere near Westlake, and few facilities where kids can gather safely. The schoolyards historically filled that gap. They were places where children rode bikes, played ball, and families spent time together in a safe environment close to home. Since the gates were put up and locked, children have lost that vital access. Many are now learning how to ride bikes in the streets, if at all, playing in unsafe areas, with most students simply staying indoors. This harms their physical health, mental well-being, and social development. It has also eroded the sense of community we once enjoyed, when neighbors gathered and children of all ages played safely near home. I understand concerns about safety, liability, and maintenance, but other districts have shown that solutions exist. Through shared use agreements, posted hours, and clear rules of conduct, we can work together to protect the schools while restoring our children's safe spaces. I came to this board over 5 years ago when the gates went up at Ben Franklin while my oldest child was there, explaining that this leaves countless kids with no access to a basketball hoop. I was told to go to Parks and Recreation. I went to many of their meetings over the last few years requesting a hoop be placed in Westlake Park. My son is now turning 20 years old, and there is no basketball hoop. Our kids deserve more than iPads or phones as the only way to connect with friends outside of school. They have already suffered in isolation during the pandemic and missed out on vital socializing years. At its core, this is about giving kids what every child deserves, a safe place to play, to grow, and to belong. The schoolyards are already here. They were designed for play, and they were meant to serve the community as open space. Closing them off has created a real harm. I'm almost done.
Thank you. I am sorry, I do have to stop you for time.
It's a one more paragraph. That's cool.
All right, thank you.
I urge the board to consider reopening the school during non-school hours and to work with the community on reasonable.
All right, we move on to item 7, the consent agenda. The
Excuse me.
administrator.
Okay, so before we go to the consent agenda, I would like to take up an item off.
Sure, sounds good.
Item EB.
Sorry, what item was
Item
that? 8?
EB, which one's item EB? Oh, E,
Yes.
oh,
Classified personnel employment.
got it. All right, we have one item EB being pulled off of the consent agenda. Are there any other items? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion with the item EB being removed.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
With item EB being removed, yes?
Yes.
Cool. All right, I have a motion and a second. There is a resolution. This will be a roll call vote. Ms. Covere?
Mr. Rashba?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Mr. Ali?
Aye.
Ms. Policarpio?
Aye.
Mr. Sujisaka?
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. The consent agenda is approved. All right, now we move to item 8EB.
Actually, you need to do the consent item that he pulled, 7EB.
Oh, sorry, 7EB. Sorry, I did the wrong number, but I did say EB. Thank you. So 7EB, employment classified personnel. The administration recommends approval of employment for the following classified employees as detailed in the attached documentation. Probationary, Josephine Jacob, Josephine Osorio, substitutes, Faith Gonzalez Barron, Zinmar Mint, Otto Leonel Trujillo Trabanino, and Elsa Maria Torres Zeladon. All right, Trustee Ali.
Yeah, thank you. So I asked for this to be removed because, you know, as we all know, there's a national teacher shortage. I know there's, I'm pretty sure there's a paraprofessional shortage as well. That being said, you know, almost all of you know that I'm a credentialed teacher, and I've taken a leave of absence from my full-time job. However, I'm in a substitute agency right now, and this agency has been sending me out to sub as a teacher and as a paraprofessional. So I'm starting to see more gaps and more of the need. And and the other reason why I wanted these people to hear their names called is because you know, working in schools, if you know anything about the special circumstance instructional aides, they do so much work, including changing diapers of not just children, but even adults, adult education. So I just really think I would like to honor these folks for stepping into these positions and classified. Thank you.
I apologize if I mispronounce any of their names. All right, so this is an action item, so I do need a motion and a second.
I move that we approve the hiring of these classified workers.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations to those individuals, and thank you for your service. All right, item 8A, resolution number 250924, Week of the School Administrator. The administration recommends adoption of resolution number 250924A, designating the week of October 12th through 18th, 2025 as Week of the School Administrator. I will now rap this out loud. Whereas resolution number 250924A, Week of the School Administrator, October 12th through 18th, 2025. Whereas leadership matters in California's public education system and more than 6 million students it serves. And whereas school administrators are passionate, lifelong learners who believe in the value of quality public education. And whereas the title school administrator is a broad term used to define many education leader posts, superintendents, assistant superintendents, principals, assistant principals, special education, and adult education leaders, curriculum and assessment leaders, school business officials, classified educational leaders, and other school district employees who are considered administrators. And whereas providing quality service for student success is paramount for the profession, and whereas California once ranked the first in the nation for per pupil spending, now ranks among the last. And whereas voters have proven that public education matters by approving local and statewide school funding measures, and whereas most school administrators began their careers as teachers, the average school administrator has served in public education for more than a decade. Most of California superintendents have served in education for more than 20 years. Such experience is beneficial in their work and effectively and efficiently lead public education and improve student achievement. And whereas public schools operate with lean management systems across the nation, public schools employ fewer managers and supervisors than most public and private sector industries, including transportation, food service, manufacturing, utilities, construction, publishing, and public administration. And whereas school leaders depend on a network of support from school communities, fellow administrators, teachers, parents, students, businesses, community members, board trustees, colleges and universities, community and faith-based organizations, elected officials, and district and county staff, and resources to promote ongoing student achievement and school success. And whereas, in addition to highly qualified and effective classroom teachers, research shows that great schools are led by great principals and great districts are led by great superintendents. These site leaders are supported by extensive administrative networks throughout the state. And whereas the state of California has declared the second full week of October as Week of the School Administrator in Education Code 44015.1, and whereas the future of California's public education system depends on the quality of its leadership. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Jefferson Elementary School District Board of Trustees and all school leaders in the Jefferson Elementary School District be commended for the contributions they make to successful student achievement. Thank you. All right, so this is a resolution. If there's any comments or questions, otherwise I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion, and I will second. This is a roll call vote. Ms. Coveray, can you please give us a roll call, please?
Mr. Rashba.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Mr. Ali.
Aye.
Ms. Policarpio.
Aye.
Mr. Sujisaka.
Aye. That is unanimous. Thank you to our school administrators, and we'll be commending you during that week. All right, item 9A, retirements, classified personnel. The administration recommends approval of the retirement request from the following classified employees and requests that the appropriate resolutions be prepared, commending them for their years of service with the district. Clorinda Lauderdale, HR assistant, district office, date of hire, January 22nd, 1997, effective November 30th, 2025. And Joanne Soraya, I think I'm mispronouncing that. Instructional assistant, special education, date of hire, September 25th, 1996, effective January 1st of 2026. All right, if there are any comments or questions, otherwise I'll entertain a motion.
I just want to thank both of these wonderful people for their years, almost 30 years of service to our district. So if someone is at one place of employment for that long, that they're really committed. So thank you so much.
And I just want to make sure you said for the instructional assistant, the effective date was January 1st. It's actually January 5th.
Thank you.
And I motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations to our classified retirements. Enjoy your retirement. All right. Item 10A, JESD Annual Board Governance Workshop Discussion / Action. The board will discuss selecting a date for the annual governance workshop for the following Saturdays, January 24th, January 31st, or February 7th, the same day as the STEM fair. Superintendent McCulloch, would you like to comment?
Yes, so at a previous board meeting, the board had requested that we have our facilitator that is leading the Budget and Facilities Superintendent Advisory Committee, Lynette Hodson from School Services of California, to help lead the governance workshop. She gave me 3 dates, and so I wanted to see which dates so that we can then bring a contract forward with the date of the workshop. And just to note, last year we did do the same day as the STEM fair because the board had desired to do both in the same day, so that they could all attend the STEM fair and then join for a shorter, I think it was like 4.5, 5 hours of the governance workshop. So any of those dates work for the facilitator as well as myself, and so I'll let you have a discussion amongst yourselves. I would also like to know if it is any of those days, the timing, what kind of length of time you would like for your governance workshop. I would say at least 4 hours, but it's up to you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Superintendent. So I guess we'll go around and see if any dates do not work for anybody. I will say the one date that unfortunately will not work for me will be February 7th, which unfortunately is the day of the STEM fair, which I apologize for missing.
And I am unfortunately unavailable on January 24th. So hopefully the 31st is a good date.
Yeah, and if we cannot come to a consensus, we'll just do the one that works for the most. Yeah, exactly. So if someone can't make it, that's okay, but we'd like to try to make everyone
It would
make
be preferred if everyone could make it, so we could go back for different dates. We don't have to do it in January and February. We could try another month if that works better for everyone as well.
So far I have January 31st as the last selected date. Is that okay with everybody? Let's check our calendars. That works. Okay. Yep. All right. So we have our selected date. So after this, we will need a motion. We now need to discuss the amount of time and when we want to start. Historically, we have started at 9 and ended around like 2, 3-ish. If we're going to do a 4-hour one, that would be from 9 to 1.
It's really up to you if you want to do 9 to 2 or
So open discussion.
So what's on the agenda? Have we talked about that yet?
At the previous meeting, we talked about doing the self-evaluation conversation, as well as then having Lynette Hodson share what's happening with the Superintendent Advisory Committee, looking at the budget, looking at all the details of what's happening in that committee to kind of give you the mid-year checkpoint of what's been progressing. And so I feel like it would need at least 2 hours or an hour and a half maybe for the self-evaluation conversation, goal setting and things like that, and then maybe even an update of the governance handbook if we need to redesign some of that, and then time for questions and diving in and looking at some of the information from the Budget and Facilities Advisory Committee.
Thank you.
I was going to say, President Sujisaka, can I make a recommendation about the agenda for that day? So I know originally we were focused on the self-evaluation, and obviously our board has a newer member, and I think a lot of what we saw from the self-evaluation is really our mission and like what our goals were all kind of pieced together from previous boards. And so I would recommend that we can talk about the evaluation, but it seems like we maybe focus on updating what our goals, our mission, and all of that is, making sure it aligns with this current board, and then utilize that then to create the evaluation as we go into the next year.
Yeah, I would support that. I mean, it seems like we have two really big topics in, our goals, as Trustee Jordan said, and the budget and issues and the observations so far in working with the committee. And I mean, I would suggest if possible, we schedule 9 to 3, and then maybe we finish early if we, feel like everything is wrapped up in advance.
Any objections from the board members? If there is a motion, that is also welcome. I will say, if there's food, I'll be there.
I'll motion to approve the 31st and the agenda, what he said.
And 9 to 3. Got it? All right. So
9
there's
to 3, just to clarify,
Yeah,
9 to 3.
And then there's a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. You've got your date. All right. Item 11A, Board Policies and Administrative Regulations, August 2025, CSBA Special Board Policy Updates, first reading. The board will review and revise board policies, administrative regulations, board bylaws from August 2025 CSBA Special Board Policy Updates as stated in a first reading. If there are any comments or questions, otherwise I'll entertain a motion.
Since I personally reviewed this, I'll motion to approve.
Second. Excuse me. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, and we reached item 12, governance team member comments, reports, future agenda items, and board meeting reflection. And this time, I actually will start on my left. So this is just where you kind of reflect on how the meeting went, anything that you would like for future agenda items and report. It's open to you.
Great first meeting, I feel. Welcome. Again, presentations were great. I hope all the presentations following stand up to your standards. But no, great first meeting. I am feeling energized and engaged. So I just need to learn everybody's names that I see and continue. And I'm really good with names. So please come tell me, and I promise I will remember.
Don't brag about it.
So I just want to point out that we did a good job of showing our community engagement, and I was really glad to see the agencies, the parents spoke, and one of our students tonight. And as usual, that we kept our interest in, our focus on the best interests of the students.
I want to thank all, everyone that came out tonight, parents, children, anyone that's listening in today. Huge thanks to Ms. LaRock. That was an amazing double presentation, a double feature, it was just so informative, and honestly, you answered all of the questions that we were going to ask in advance, and you honestly, you listened to what we talked about the last time and brought that forward, and so I just really appreciate you listening to us and explaining so thoroughly, not just to us, but our community, how to ensure that they get into our after-school programs and or our summer programs. I don't know if this is a future agenda, maybe it's a meeting reflection. We don't always have a lot of speakers, and I know that we have a time limit, and I know that it is a sticky situation to change the rules for one person. However, I will say because we didn't have a lot of speakers, and because it was a community member and we're talking about community engagement, I would like to maybe rethink how we stop them from maybe continuing to talk, maybe even up, like, if possible, if we don't have a lot going on the agenda or we don't have any speakers, giving them an option to speak a little bit more instead of cutting them off and then allowing them to, unfortunately, be disruptive on exit. That would just be my, I guess, reflection on the meeting. And I'm, again, you don't have to agree with me. I just felt like we could have done it a little differently.
I'll address that with you afterwards.
Thank you. I completely concur with what Trustee Jordan has said about speaker comments and wanting to encourage that. So thank you for sharing that. And I certainly also concur with what you and the other trustees have said about this meeting. Thank you, Ms. LaRock, for 2 excellent presentations, really inspiring. I did have one suggested future meeting topic, and seeing Ms. Baroni in the audience tonight, I want to thank her for her help in dealing with an issue I had with Parent View. Everything is good, working well now. And just wanted to suggest that as a future topic, if it's not there already. I did take a quick look at the spreadsheet, but just the broad topic of IT, and would love to hear about particularly use of Parent View, which I consider to be really important just as a measure of engagement from our parents. Would love to hear anything that you have about how we know that parents are engaged with that, and anything else related to technology, how it's changed, how it's being used across our district.
Excellent. I concur with my fellow board trustees. And I just wanted to really take a second to appreciate hearing the student voices. We had some student voices that could and may not have been heard tonight because whether it was under our jurisdiction. But I just wanted to say that the importance of hearing a student voice, whether or not it's under our jurisdiction, is what we are here for. And the fact that students had the I guess I should say courage to come forward and speak up. That's huge, and that's what we encourage our students to do in this district. We are all here for the students. 4 of us and then me are not, I'm not a parent, but we have 4 parents on the board. So just really highlighting that we heard a lot of student voices tonight, and we want to encourage students to continue to speak up. This is your district. We do this for you. So please continue to speak up. All right. With that, we go to item 13, persons wishing to address the board on closed session items. This portion of the agenda is available for individuals to comment on or address on the board on items addressed in closed session. The maximum time is usually 2 minutes. Ms. Coveray, do we have any speakers? Excellent, thank you. All right, we will take a 5-minute recess.
President, did we give the superintendent a chance to make any governance team comments at the end?
I don't have any comments today.
Okay,
Thank you.
just making sure.
No, thank you. I know we don't usually do that, but we can start. All right, with that, we go to a 5-minute recess at 8:40.